Solar geoengineering refers to a set of techniques designed to reflect a small portion of sunlight back into space. The idea is to temporarily cool the Earth and slow down the effects of global warming. Instead of tackling the root causes like carbon emissions directly, these methods focus on reducing the amount of heat that reaches the planet's surface. Techniques being explored include spraying tiny reflective particles into the atmosphere and brightening clouds over the oceans to make them reflect more sunlight. Solar geoengineering is being considered because climate change is worsening faster than emissions reductions alone can manage. Even with global efforts to cut carbon emissions, temperatures are continuing to rise, and there is a growing fear that we may cross dangerous climate thresholds. In this context, solar geoengineering could act as an emergency backup, a temporary measure to cool the planet if all else fails. Supporters argue that beginning research now is essential to better understand the risks, challenges, and potential impacts. Importantly, the UK government has emphasized that this initiative is purely for research purposes, with no plans for actual deployment at this stage. The UK is investing £50 million through the Advanced Research and Invention Agency, or ARIA, in a project called the Exploring Climate Cooling Program. The program is focused on researching different methods of solar geoengineering. One of the key methods is stratospheric aerosol injection, which involves spraying tiny reflective particles, such as sulfates, into the stratosphere. These particles act like small mirrors, bouncing a portion of sunlight back into space. The overall goal is to reduce the amount of heat reaching the Earth's surface and, as a result, lower global temperatures. Another method being explored under the UK's climate cooling program is marine cloud brightening. In this technique, a fine mist of seawater is sprayed into the air over the oceans. The tiny salt particles in the mist help to form more clouds and make existing clouds brighter. Brighter clouds are more reflective, meaning they bounce more sunlight away from the planet's surface. The goal, once again, is to achieve a cooling effect by reducing the amount of heat absorbed by the Earth. A third technique being researched is called Cirrus cloud thinning. While previous methods focus on reflecting sunlight, this approach targets heat already trapped inside the Earth's atmosphere. Cirrus clouds are thin, wispy clouds that form high in the sky, usually above 6,000 meters, or about 20,000 feet, and are made mostly of ice crystals. In this method, special ice-forming particles are used to thin out these high-altitude clouds. By reducing their thickness, more heat, specifically infrared radiation, can escape from the Earth into space. The ultimate goal is to cool the planet by lessening the amount of heat that these clouds trap. Supporters of solar geoengineering believe it could serve as a vital emergency backup if global warming accelerates beyond our ability to control it through emissions cuts alone. They argue that these techniques could buy humanity valuable time, giving the world a chance to fully transition to renewable energy sources and reach carbon neutrality without crossing dangerous climate thresholds. Advocates also emphasize that early research is a responsible action. By studying the potential effects now, we can better understand both the risks and the benefits, allowing for future decisions to be made carefully and based on solid scientific evidence, rather than in a rushed crisis. While supporters see potential benefits, critics raise serious concerns about solar geoengineering. One major worry is the risk of unintended side effects. Modifying the atmosphere could disrupt weather systems, cause droughts, or shift rainfall patterns unpredictably, with vulnerable regions likely suffering the most. There are also ethical and political risks to consider. Deciding who gets to control global climate interventions could lead to international conflicts and raises important questions about fairness, consent, and governance. Finally, critics warn of a moral hazard, the idea that relying on a potential easy fix might reduce the urgency to cut carbon emissions, giving polluters an excuse to delay meaningful climate action. The debate over solar geoengineering ultimately forces us to confront a deep and difficult question: should we try to control the Earth's climate? Supporters argue that researching these techniques could save millions of lives in a climate emergency, while critics warn that the risks of unintended consequences and ethical dilemmas are simply too great. As we move forward, the world must carefully weigh the potential benefits against the dangers of intervening in complex natural systems. So now the question is left to all of us: should we play God with the climate, or should we focus only on reducing the damage we have already caused?